How we doing, guys? Welcome to DT's Daily. Now, on today's show, we're going to be speaking about Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang because Charlie Nicholas reckons that any move to Manchester United would be a sideways step. We're also going to be speaking about Real Madrid because their players have agreed to a wage cut. And last piece of news, we will be speaking about the Scottish Football League because Rangers are not happy with the current proposals that are on the table.
I represent my fucking self.
How we doing, guys? Welcome to DT's Daily. That's right.
So the first place we're going to start is Arsenal and Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang. And of course, it's that contract situation. This is not a new story for Arsenal fans. This is something that's been going on for months and months and months. Will he sign a new contract? Will he stay for the final year that's left on his current one? Or will he move to another club? Now, a lot of reports are saying there's a lot of interested parties. And I don't blame them because they'd be getting a world-class striker. One of those sides is Manchester United. Now, in years gone by, there's been some high-profile, players leaving Arsenal for Manchester United. Robin van Persie, more recently Alexis Sanchez. But could Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang also be another one? Not according to Charlie Nicholas, because in his opinion, it would be nothing more than a sideways step. Gonna start Aubameyang has a contract in North London until the summer of 2021. And with no extension agreed, there has been some suggestion that he could make an exit this summer and head to Old Trafford in a fashion similar to Van Persie and Alexis Sanchez. But ex-Arsenal man Nicholas feels that the contrasting success of Van Persie, who immediately won the title in Sir Alex Ferguson's final season, and Sanchez, who badly struggled, could see the Gabonese remain at the Emirates. It depends what people put down as a risk. And you know what? I will get onto it in a moment about the risk and everything else. But I do, before I go on with this, totally agree with what Charlie Nicholas is saying. And I will give my own perspective as to why in a moment. But he goes on to say that if he was to go to Manchester United, does it help Arsenal? No, not at all. If Aubameyang wants to leave, you ideally want him out of the Premier League. However, he is of a mind and age that I can see the dangers and understand comparisons to Van Persie. However, I think he will be thinking about what happened to Alexis Sanchez rather than Van Persie. Would he want to go and be a part of a superstar reload at Manchester United? Is there a great appeal to that? If it was Liverpool or Manchester City, I would get it. But Manchester United are miles away from the top two. I do not see the appeal of moving to Old Trafford. So I agree fully with what Charlie Nicholas is saying. It would only be a sideways step at Manchester United. Sir Alex Ferguson, what's he been, out of the club now? 6 years or so? Manchester United have not finished above Arsenal in 5 of those 6 years. Changing managers, like you change your underwear. Changing players consistently. They're going to go and spend some money, most likely. And you're talking about the likes of Sancho and whatnot. But what he's saying is true. Does he want to be part of that big ego, star-studded, side where they're trying to rebuild and everything? Manchester United spending a couple of £100 million and bringing in a couple of players and whatnot doesn't mean that they're going to start challenging Liverpool and Manchester City for titles and Champions League and everything else. No chance are they. So with his age, he ideally would want to go somewhere where it's instantaneous, where you would win something, straight off the bat. Which is why he's saying Manchester City and Liverpool would make sense, but not Manchester United. It's a rebuilding programme. It's going to take a good 2, 3, 4 years before Manchester United are looking to challenge for titles, etc., etc. And also, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, is he the man that's going to stay at Manchester United and run a bad form? He could be back under pressure and he could be out of the door. So what happens then? So it's a lot for Aubameyang to think. And I don't think he will move to Manchester United if he goes anywhere at all. Charlie Nicholas also goes on to say that Arsenal need to do all they can to keep hold of him. And I fully agree. That's what we need to do, because how are we going to replace Aubameyang's goals? We simply are not. So, you know, he knows that everyone at the club loves him. And it is ultimately down to ambition. And if he believes in what Mikel Arteta is trying to do, and if he believes that in the next couple of years he can get what he wants, then he will stay. But, and it's a big but, we will wait and see. So interesting. But yeah, I don't think he will make that move to Manchester United unless it was just purely money orientated like Alexis Sanchez. But yeah, I'm not too sure that Aubameyang is fully money orientated, shall we say. Speaking of money, Real Madrid players and staff have agreed to take pay cuts between 10 to 20%. Real Madrid have announced players and coaches have agreed to take pay cuts between 10 and 20% whilst the season remains suspended due to the coronavirus pandemic. The club says the measure has been taken in an effort to reduce the traumatic measures that affect the rest of the workers. Real Madrid's move follow rivals Barcelona and Atletico Madrid, whose players have accepted a 70% pay cut to help non-playing staff. So this has been something that we spoke a lot about in recent days and weeks because of, you know, what's going on in our own country and everything else. And it's nice to see that Real Madrid have followed suit. But also at the same time, you know that there's people out there that are still not going to be happy with that. Because there's one part of that report that I mentioned there with Barcelona and Atletico Madrid, players taking a 70% wage cut. A lot of people will look at Real Madrid and say, you know what, the biggest club in the world, and they cannot follow suit. My opinion on it is very simple. Fair play to Real Madrid. It's nice to see that they're doing something. It's nice to see that they're all trying to help out, you know, the local people. And yeah, between everyone, hopefully we can all get through it and come out the other side. Because especially in the UK, we're about to hit our peak. And it's not great at the moment. Nearly 1,000 deaths in the UK on average a day at the moment. So not great in any way, shape or form. Last piece of news involves the Scottish Football League, and Rangers have criticised them and their plans to end the season early for leagues below the Premiership, saying that the fact that clubs could be unfairly relegated is abhorrent. The SPFL put forward proposals on Wednesday to immediately terminate the Championship, League One, League Two due to the coronavirus pandemic. The final standings of those three leagues will be determined on a points per game basis. That would result in Dundee United returning to the Premiership, with Raith Rovers moving into the Championship and Cove Rangers being promoted to League One. On the flip side, Partick Thistle would be relegated to League One, with Stranraer dropping to League Two. Partick have already released a statement saying they will simply not accept this proposal as it stands. So, listen, it looks like a lot of leagues are starting to put the foundations in place to end their seasons. And of course, we do have to, you know, make this clear that this is not the Scottish Premiership. This is only, you know, the leagues below and everything else. But it does show that, you know, these organisations now, they're starting to put plans in place. They're starting to look forward, and they're looking to, you know, maybe just finish the seasons. But this one's a bit of a strange one because, like I was explaining in there, they're not going to void the seasons. They're not going to, you know, scrap that and go again next year. They're going to go on a points to game basis. So there is promotions, there is, you know, titles won and relegation and everything. And I'll tell you something, it's really, really tough on the sides that are on the wrong end of this. You know, what we were saying there, one of the clubs, Partick Thistle, you know, they've already released a statement saying that they're not going to agree to it because they're going to be one of the sides that get relegated. But then on the flip side, you've got some sides that are going to be promoted. So no one's going to be happy. And it's a bold proposal, that's for sure. And the fact that the likes of Rangers from the Premiership have got involved and saying what they're saying, maybe that might change. But the foundations are in place, and you wait and see whether other leagues will start to follow suit, and whether, you know, this might filter down into, you know, the English game, and whether the Championship, League One, League Two, etc. They might start shutting those down and putting plans in place. I don't think that happened with the Premier League. I think that's too big a league and too many, you know, negatives from the Premier League's point of view to make that happen. But if it continues and the weeks and weeks and, you know, whatnot go by, then they might have to start thinking about it. But very interesting. So as usual, let me know in the comment section what you think of today's topics. Get yourself involved and let me know. If you're new around here, hit the subscribe button. Make sure you smash a like on this video. I will see you a lot soon. I'm out of here.